Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are doing a Carolina Panthers mock draft, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below as I am closing in on my goal of 900 subscribers before the end of February. I am only 15 subscribers away, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Help me out. Like this video if you enjoy it, and comment your thoughts and opinions down below. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and hoping other Carolina Panthers fans see this video. And really, honestly, I just like to be able to hear what your thoughts are, what mistakes I made, what decisions you agree with, and stuff like that. So make sure that you also, the icon for all of my mock drafts will be up above, so if you want to check that out as well. So let's get started with today's video. So at the number 9 overall pick, I selected Will Levis, the quarterback out of Kentucky. Oh, another thing I need to mention, Pro Football Network is the simulator that I used, and Anthony Richardson was already gone, and I preface that because Will Levis has generally been gone more often than Anthony Richardson, so Richardson's been a favorite of the Carolina Panthers. And to be honest, I like Richardson in Carolina more than I like Will Levis for one reason in particular. I think Richardson has the ability to have a higher ceiling than Levis. Levis is a decently defined prospect, has some kind of characteristics, and I think he would fit well with Frank Wright. I do think that he kind of would do well in that system, Levis would, but the problem that I have is that Richardson has such a high ceiling, and Carolina not having to have him start having Corral, having Sam Darnold, and stuff like that allows them to not have to have him play right away, and I think that would help Anthony Richardson a lot. So I personally like Richardson better at the spot, but Levis was available, and personally, I think Carolina really needs to draft a quarterback and probably is going to trade up for one. I think personally, I didn't do a trade up in this draft because I really didn't think it was necessary. In a lot of these mock drafts, the Bears stay at 1 and stuff like that, which are things that probably will not end up happening. But once we get closer, once the Bears probably trade that number 1 overall pick and stuff like that, that should give us a better picture of what's going on. So at pick number 54, quick mention, I traded pick number 39 to get pick number 54 and pick number 85 from the Los Angeles Chargers. There wasn't anybody that I desperately was like, oh, that needs to be the guy. I think the Panthers have enough holes to fill that getting an extra third-round pick was important to move down 15 slots. I think that's a pretty good trade. And with that, I selected Luke Musgrave, the tight end out of Oregon State, that's really been shooting up boards with a really good Shrine Bowl or Senior Bowl performance. Sorry, I get those two mixed up. Played really well, really kind of defined himself as a possible tight end 2, tight end 3 character, depending on what your thoughts are on Darnell Washington. Washington kind of being kind of a polarizing figure with some people on whether you think his athleticism, his build, and all of that is worth the pick that you're going to spend on him in the early second round, late first round, which is where a lot of people think Washington will go. But that's kind of the debate. I personally like Musgrave more than Washington because I think Washington does have great height and stature. The problem that I have with it is that sometimes it's too much. Sometimes that type of body tends to have a problem with being able to stay consistently healthy and consistently playing well. Example, Kyle Pitts out of Atlanta, as many Falcons fans know. At pick number 61, I have the Carolina Panthers selecting Jared Patterson, the guard/center out of Notre Dame. Can play both. Played left guard for the Irish this year and played center in previous years. I think can play either. Probably is better at center, but can play either, and that's important to remember later on in this draft class. But I really think that he is number 1 or number 2. Personally, I like him as my center number 1. As a guard, he's much lower. But as a center, I think that he's the best, even though I know a lot of people like John Michael Schmitz. Personally, Patterson was an All-American at center in 2021, and I don't know. And as guard, he's not as prolific, and plus there are a lot better guards than there are centers. But either way, Patterson is a great center, and I think can play that position for the Panthers there. At number 92, I need to preface this with another trade. I have the Panthers trading with the Bengals to trade away the number 85th and 247th pick for the number 92 and 131. Really, go down 7 picks and then you go up 146 picks. I think that's a pretty fair trade. Well, for the Panthers then. For the Bengals then, I would not do it. But overall, I was still happy, got the guy I wanted at this spot that I would have taken at 85, which was Isaiah Land, the edge rusher out of Florida A&M. There is an interesting kind of track record with him. Had an amazing Senior Bowl performance, really shot up the big boards, and with a pro day coming up and with a possible, I think the HBCU, obviously Florida and A&M is a HBCU. They had a combine last year. I cannot remember off the top of my head whether they will have a combine this year. I think they will, and that obviously will help him being able to attend that, and then he'll have the NFL combine. I could really see him being a late second round pick at the end of this just because of his physical attributes as a player. Then at the next pick, no time wasted, at pick number 93, I have the Panthers selecting Matthew Bergeron, the offensive tackle out of Syracuse. Bergeron, I think, could be a starter in the NFL, and even a day one starter at that. And Taylor Morton at right tackle, I'm not so happy about that. I think at Akeem Ekwonu at left, I think you got a good solid piece there. I think Brady Christensen at left guard is a solid piece, but I think on the right side of that line from center to right tackle really could use a revamping. Then at pick number 114, I have the Panthers selecting Jamie Robinson, the safety out of Florida State. Robinson, I think, could use a little bit of development. Obviously, this is a 4th round pick, not a really high pick, but is a good player. Robinson, I think, could be a good safety, could play both nickel, could play strong safety as well. I think that he could be used as a safety 3 or maybe even a safety number 2, replacing Xavier Woods. It kind of depends on your opinion. I really like Jeremy Chin. I know he had a little bit of a down year compared to his rookie year, but I still like him. Think he's a good player. Robinson, I think, as well, is a good player, and I think can really develop well. So I really like Robinson at that pick, addressing that secondary spot. Then at pick number 131, I know a lot of Panthers fans may disagree with me on this pick, but I personally like it, and I think it's important to do this. So your 2 running backs are Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard. Not personally the biggest fan of either one. I know Foreman had a really good second half of the season. And here, let me look up his stats for the season. He had 914 yards, 4.5 yards a carry, 200 carries and 5 touchdowns. Overall, had a good season, had 165 yards against the Lions, but other than that, he had 68 yards against the Saints, 35 against the Bucks, 9 against the Steelers, and 74 against the Seahawks. Tajay Spears, the running back out of Tulane, blew up at the Senior Bowl, but really, in my opinion, he did it. He was on my radar, and with the way he played against USC in the bowl game and the way he played in the AAC championship, it's like, well, duh. He is one of the most profound players in this draft class that's really being underrated. And I really like Tajay Spears. I think that he is a good player, and I think can really help this Panthers team and can be that explosive back that you lost when you lost Christian McCaffrey. At pick number 132, once again, didn't have to wait very long. Very next pick, Ricky Stromberg, the center/guard out of Arkansas. Again, another player that kind of is 50-50 on whether he can play guard or not in the NFL. Right now, I'm looking at it from the scope that you have the ability to transform this offensive line. And I think between Stromberg and Patterson, one of them will hit at center, one of them probably won't. But it is good to take multiple shots at the board, the same way that the Chiefs did a couple of years ago with offensive line, the same way that the Redskins at the time, now the Commanders, did with Kirk Cousins and RG3 in the same draft, and, well, look who turned out to be the quarterback. I think that it's good to take multiple shots at that offensive line. And I think having both of those positions will help. So, now on to the last pick. At pick number 147, I have the Panthers selecting KJ Henry, the edge rusher out of Clemson. Really, I think that Henry is just a good edge rusher, solid, doesn't do anything wonderfully or anything like that, but just does it solid. And I think can really add to the edge rushing department. Maybe can get 5-6 sacks a year on a good year, stuff like that. I think can add to the pass rushing. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Make sure you hit the 2 videos down below. One will be a playlist of all the mock drafts so far, and please hit that subscribe button up here. I'm closing in on that 900, so hit that subscribe button. Help me out. That's all for today's video, and as always, have a great day.